Is this heaven?
No, it's a podcast. Welcome to the Field of Geeks podcast.
Welcome to episode 143 of the Field of Geeks podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Bill.
And I'm Jonah.
All right, we got some guests, returning champions here.
Yes.
They're strong in the force.
Yeah, thanks for having us back.
Yeah, thanks for guesting. I really appreciate this. Yeah, unfortunately,
no
everyone else is busy. You know, they have lives. I do too, occasionally. Sometimes.
Yeah, not so much for me.
Kids keep usually busy. And...
Yeah, kids, of course. And the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of the holidays, how was your Christmases?
Really good.
Everything you wanted?
Yeah. I mean, I got, I get more enjoyment out of watching my kids open their presents and stuff like that. So
Sure.
And my fiance went to Nobby's when they were having like their big blowout sale kind of thing and getting rid of stuff. She bought like a ton of Star Trek outfits and donated them to Toys for Tots.
Bless her.
Cool.
That's awesome. Yeah, when you send that to me, I'm like, because he said, imagine like this.
There's going to be a bunch of little Spocks running
That's
around.
awesome. That's awesome.
So yeah,
I love that.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
We got the biggest like nerd thing that I got. I can't even use till next year, but it's the 80-year anniversary Marvel Pop Advent calendar.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that.
Are those full-size pops?
No, they're like little mini ones.
Little mini pops?
Yeah.
Right on.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, they got a lot of those I see out now.
Oh, man. They have them
Target's got a good selection.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
they have them for everything.
They do.
Like just the most obscure stuff, like Golden Girls.
Yeah.
They've got Golden Girl pops now. I'm like, what? Okay. Anyway.
I never imagined Golden Girls, they'd get like a Lego set and action figures and all this.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy how that show is still like, it's about a bunch of old ladies, but everyone's geeking out about it still.
I think it's more because of Betty White.
Yeah.
Like
I think
everyone
she's
just
definitely
loves Betty White.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. What about you, Jonah? What'd you get?
Yeah, Christmas was good as an adult. It's a lot of adult stuff, clothes, shoes.
Yeah.
That you're actually kind of
books.
excited about, right?
I'm very excited about it. It was all great stuff, but I do have to live vicariously through my children now who get the Lego sets and the toys.
Oh, yeah.
Dad, this is for you. No, it's for
Yeah,
you.
yeah. So put together, my son got Slave One Lego set, so we put that together earlier this week. And a few years ago, my wife had gotten me the Millennium Falcon from the Force Awakens Lego set, and it's just sat in a box in my basement. And then finally last Sunday, sat down, watched Star Wars movies all day long and put that together.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, it was a good time.
How long did it take? The whole trilogy? Or
it only took me about 4.5, 5 hours.
Really?
It wasn't too bad.
And how big are we talking? This thing?
It's not a super huge set. It's
okay,
one of the
it's
small.
Not like
it's not the
it's
big.
A little smaller. Okay.
$800 Millennium Falcon. No, this is the smaller.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
$150 Millennium Falcon. But still, it was a lot of fun to put together. And for a long time, Lego was a rabbit hole I didn't want to fall down. And now I'm like, oh, what do I get next?
I know. It's so weird. It's like, do I get that, or do I get like a actual replica, miniaturized model, Hot Toys? Like they have the Batmobile now, the '89. And I'm like, that's so cool. But would I rather have like an actual look-alike '89 Batmobile or a Lego?
Right.
It's like I kind of want both, but I
Plus
don't have a lot of room.
like that's like a $200 set right there. Like
I know.
the '89 Batmobile. It's cool.
It is.
I mean,
cool.
it's functional and everything, but
yeah, I love. Like I said, rabbit hole I didn't want to go down. I've gone down it. Luckily, my kids have got enough stuff. We have plenty to put together. My son got a bunch of Harry Potter sets. My daughter got the Friends.
Did she? That's awesome.
She got the Central Perk coffee
cool.
shop, so we're gonna put that together.
That's actually a reasonable price, I thought.
It was like $60. It wasn't
reasonable,
bad.
especially for the like pop culture.
Yep.
And then, don't you have the Stranger Things one?
My son got that for his birthday, and he put that together. I helped, and that's a very cool set.
Does it move? Or
no? So you can like flip it upside down, and so you've got the regular house on one side. You flip it upside down. It's the
that's so cool.
The upside down house.
I was like, how does that work? 'Cause I saw the picture of it.
Yeah,
so many
it's
cool
a really
things.
Cool set.
I put together a Ecto-1 years back. It came with the 4 figures.
Yep, we've got that.
Yeah.
And for Mother's Day a few years ago, I bought my wife the Ghostbuster Firehouse. Still in the box. I think she plans on leaving it in the box.
Right.
But that set is monstrous.
Can't the car go into it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like scaled up for the.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
That's
that
awesome.
set's huge. And I'll go out and check like prices on the secondary market occasionally. I'm like, maybe it was probably a good idea we left this in the box because we'll never lose money on that.
Right.
I've got a brother-in-law. He has so many sets, and I think I would go into that rabbit hole if I had a room just devoted to it. Kind of like in Lego Movie where
Will
Ferrell's
just
got
has
the
like
basement.
he's got the little like separate doors for all the
towns and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, man, because it's like that car is awesome. Do I want to go further? Do I want to get they make a DeLorean one? Or am I just dreaming that? I'm sure it's coming.
I think they did. I
think
thought
they
it was
did
like
at
a
one
fan.
point, yeah.
It was like a fan designed one. It was part of a.
part of the
That.
entry.
Yeah,
Being selected.
So I think they did. Speaking of that, I don't have a room or anything, but I did clear off a bookshelf of graphic novels, and I'm like, these are gonna have to go into storage so I can make room for these Legos to display.
I know I got so much stuff. I'm like, where'd I put this? I don't want to get rid of it. It's like, dang it. Just have to build a room and add on to it. Well, right before Christmas, we got gifted with something we were not expecting. We had a holiday party at my work, and my wife, we never win anything, but she calls me up. I'm at home working. She says she won TV. 50-inch 4K Toshiba TV, built-in Fire TV, whatever. I was flipping out, and then she's like, "We could sell it." I'm like, no, we don't need to sell it. We don't need to sell it. So no one can see this, but that's why I have this TV in here now. So eventually, I'll maybe hook up slides as we record for.
Nice. This is what you're gonna do your commentaries on now.
Maybe, yeah. It depends on who's doing them. If they want to be very comfortable, we can probably go out there. It would suck to move all the equipment. So, yeah, worst case, we could do it on here. Pretty cool, but that was a definite surprise. And then we had to figure out, it was like a good problem. Like, where are we going to put the TVs at?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, get a stand for it. All that fun stuff. But so that was our Christmas pretty much before Christmas. Cool. Can't complain. Like you said, Bill, and I'm sure you agree with this, Jonah, it's cool to see you get more out of your kids, like opening things or gifting anybody else things as you get older. I think it's because I treat myself quite a bit during the year with things for myself. I'm like, I got everything I need. I don't really need anything else.
Well, you talk about like nostalgic gifts and stuff like that. So my fiance found a like first series Tamagotchi for my daughter. And of course, my daughter's sitting there like trying to figure it out. Like, how do you, feed it and clean it and stuff? I'm like, don't worry, I got this. Like, I played with this very, very long when I was a kid. But, no, she wanted some like just really random stuff. She wanted a yo-yo and a Rubik's Cube.
Nice. Hey.
No idea why, but okay, sure.
Nice. I did have some toys that were delivered to the house right before Christmas from an online retailer, and my wife stuck them under the tree. So I did have some toys to open up for Christmas.
Right.
But
nice.
Not a gift per se. And then I try to do Secret Santas. I don't know if you guys ever get involved with any Secret Santas.
Here and there, I have.
So I do a Secret Santa with an online G.I. Joe customizing community that I'm a part of. And the person who had drawn my name lived over in the Netherlands. And he sent me over some really cool... It was like a coffee mug that he had custom made with my name, my online handle on it, and a picture of one of my figures. And then he had these amazing Dutch G.I. Joe catalogs from like the early 90s.
Oh, cool.
The quality of like the photo quality and the way that they put those together, amazing. I could not put those down when I got those earlier this week.
That's really cool.
Yeah, they're very cool.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah, it's hard to believe Christmas is already over, but got New Year's coming up. So I'm not a big New Year's person. I don't know about you.
I was when I was younger.
Yeah.
Not so much anymore. When you've got kids and stuff like that, they're like, yeah, let's stay up till midnight. I'm like, yeah, I'll make it till like 8:30.
Oh my gosh, Christmas Day, or no, the night before Christmas, I couldn't sleep when I was young, and now it's just like, I'm tired. It's 8:00. Let's go to bed.
Yeah.
Right.
The kids are just like, I can't sleep.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, I remember that. And then they woke us up the next day, and you're like, all right. Barely there.
New Year's is going to be low key for us. I think we're talking about making kids. I think they've got like a party to go to at a family member's house.
Cool.
I think we might make dinner and, like I mentioned earlier, go see a movie. So
Heck yeah.
want to go see that Knives Out.
check that out. Yeah, I recommend that. That's a really good time. And my wife doesn't go to too many movies, so I really had to like drag her to it. And I'm like, you'll like it. It's supposed to be really good. And we like murder mystery stuff, so it's like right up her alley.
Guys, it's okay. It happens to everyone at some point. Anxiety, fear, the inability to perform when the time is right can leave you just hanging there. Maybe it's time to think about using that special pill designed for the priesthood.
Viagra.
Most ED meds work anywhere. Viagra only works in church.
Viagra.
Take advantage of those times where you're wondering why that young mom over there is dressing just a little too risque for the Sunday service. Or do you prefer the singer who's swaying her hips just right? With Viagra, you are one coat closet away from going to hell.
Viagra.
Viagra is Vatican approved. Side effects include dizziness, blurred vision, headaches, parental confrontation, and probably law enforcement intervention.
Viagra.
We've got a lot of great news topics to talk about today, of course. We're going to talk about some Deadpool 3 news, Top Gun, Shazam, and a little thing that many don't know of, probably Star Wars. So,
yeah, it's pretty obscure.
Yeah, I think there's a new movie out. I'm not sure. But, yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. So, but getting started, of course, Disney owns everything, including Fox now.
Yeah.
So the big question was, what's going to happen with Deadpool moving forward? Or, any of the rated R movies, what's going to happen? And I think we still need to know, or still need to find that answer. But so far, Ryan Reynolds said they're talking with the Marvel Studios on making a Deadpool 3. So.
Yeah, I saw something earlier this week that it looks like it's getting off the ground. I don't think it's going to be rated R.
You don't?
No.
I think
they're going to pull back. It's going to be PG-13.
I think they could make it work. I know people are going to be like, I needs to curse and all that. I get it, but I think you could maybe make a PG-13 out of it. Maybe. You could push it.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't fall into that trap that RoboCop did. Remember RoboCop 1 and 2,
yeah.
hard R-rated movies, and then 3
was terrible.
PG-13,
It's like
and
a cartoon,
sucked.
pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, and they got a different actor. Like the third movie in anything never is good. It seems like it's either the original director leaves, the main star leaves. In this case, it was both.
And I think 3 was written by Frank Miller.
Yeah, he wrote too. Yeah, the only thing it had going for it was that jetpack. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So anyway, I hope it doesn't fall into the same pit that RoboCop.
The thing is, though, Disney makes sooner or later, Marvel Studios is going to have to decide: are we going to have like a more adult-centric, section of our studio? Like we got Punisher now.
Yeah.
You gotta have that be a little dark. You can't make that unless you do like a Punisher Spider-Man crossover. You could make that PG-13, I guess, but.
I could see him doing it like a PG-13 thing and then having Deadpool constantly breaking the fourth wall. Like somebody gets ready to say the F word and he like holds up an air horn or something like that.
Right. Or they just like bleep it out with
yeah.
something.
Yeah. It's like, we can't say that anymore. We're owned by a new studio.
And then they could release like a R-rated cut for the home release. Yeah, I don't know. I just Disney, they have released rated R movies before, but it's been under like
it's been under their subsidiary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Pretty Woman.
Studios.
I remember when Pretty Woman came out, everyone was freaking out like Disney's first rated R movie, and it's like Touchstone I think put that out. It wasn't it wasn't actually the castle with Mickey saying watch this movie about a hooker and
And also think about it, Disney also put out the first couple of ICP albums.
Oh yeah.
That's true.
Back in the day.
That's true.
So maybe it will be rated R, and I don't know.
I don't know, but yeah, do you think that's what Marvel Studios should do? Is maybe have like a separate like Marvel After Dark or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, I could see Disney kind of making a subsidiary
Marvel
studio or something
thing.
like that. That's kind of like Marvel Knights or something like that.
Yeah,
where it's a little more. They can take a little more risk with it and everything like
I think
that.
they could get away with it. I mean, look at the Marvel, even though they're kind of separate, the Marvel TV series with Daredevil and things like that, those push the boundaries. And I think Punisher might have been an R-rated series.
And you can get away with a lot more on streaming services than you can just on, network television. So,
sure. Yeah, I don't see Reynolds agreeing to do it unless they can do the R. I think he would know it would make fans upset if they.
Yeah.
And yeah, I could see him walking if it didn't happen, because it's kind of like, the first one was like you know, it was a secret project they had to like force out there to see if people wanted it, and people did, and then it was like their own thing. And then the second one came. I thought the second one was pretty good, but it was more, you could tell more studio involvement, it seemed. You know, they kind of, you know,
it was a little more
sugar-coated a little bit more things.
It's a little more toned down than the first one.
It had a little, and it had a bigger budget and things like that. It did introduce some cool concepts, I thought. But yeah, I mean, the first two films have made close to $2 billion, so Disney definitely wants to rake in some of that money. More to come. Very early stages. I think it surprised a lot of people. He was on Ryan and Kelly when he broke the news. So
yeah.
No one watches that, so I'm kidding. I don't, but
I don't even know what that is.
It's, yeah. Remember Regis and Kathy Lee?
Yes.
It's like the fourth generation of the show with new people. Kelly Ripa and Ryan Seacrest.
There's a pair.
America's favorite. Yeah,
America's favorite DJ.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
You replaced Dick Clark. Top Gun 2. I love the first trailer. We got a second trailer, and yeah, I was blown away by it. You know, when they first announced they were making this, I really had no faith. Like, it's just like, how are you going to top the first one? But I really think they can do it. Like,
I really think they can too. And there's a lot more. There's more and more directors out there now that are kind of scaling back the CGI and going with practical effects and things like that.
yes,
And this looks very practically done.
it does. It does.
Not only that, but Top Gun, the original Top Gun, was the first movie I ever saw in theaters.
Really?
So I'm very excited to see like what they do with this. And it was one where I had the soundtrack that I wore out in my Walkman. I had the VHS
Kenny
tape
Loggins.
that I probably destroyed from watching it over and over again. I think a lot of what they're doing with it looks very well done. So
I love that first one so much. I mean, we were talking before we recorded how excited we were to see it over and over again. I remember playing with some friends. Then I was like, I want to go home and watch Top Gun. And I remember, like, I think I was singing one of the songs as I was riding my bike, pretending I was in a jet probably. Just couldn't wait to see it again.
like humming Danger Zone while you're on your...
I think I was, yeah.
Right.
And my folks worked for a movie distributor, so we got these Top Gun hats as merch.
Oh,
and
nice.
They actually had like a flap, like a netted flap that came down over your eyes, so you could like, it's like kind of sunglasses sort of.
Oh, right on.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I don't know if I still have it, but yeah, it's very 80s. But
If you still had, that'd be a collector's item now.
I
hope you still have
I
that.
should find that somewhere. I hope I have it. But.
Yeah, I'm really excited for this next movie. And, you know, like I mentioned earlier, parts of it looks like it remake, parts of it sequel. I know it's kind of a next evolution, but it looks like they're going to borrow some things from the first one. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Again, I've got kids who have never seen the first one. And so I'm excited to share this with them and go see it in IMAX. You have to see it in IMAX. Just based on how it was filmed.
Definitely.
You have to. It's an IMAX movie for sure. But luckily we have an IMAX, like an actual IMAX screen now, so you don't have to hurt your neck watching it at the Dome downtown.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited, and I love the practical side of it. I think Nolan really helped bring that back into popularity, maybe, or maybe some directors didn't know they could still do practical. They're like, well, Nolan did it, so we'd like to do that too, you know, because like Dunkirk, you know, Tom Hardy, the whole scene up there, those are like real planes maneuvering, I think, for the most part, because he hates CG, Nolan.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad they're going that direction. CG, if it's not done really, really well, nothing pulls me out of a movie faster than fake special effects.
Yeah.
If my brain tells me it's fake, the experience is lost.
Right. If it's like blurry, kind of, it's too colorful. Did you guys happen to see that Midway remake that came out?
I did not.
It's like the makers of Independence Day. I didn't really expect greatness from it. I didn't see it, but looking at the special effects, that was one of the things that kind of kept me away. Like, just looks too Independence Day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like Pearl Harbor probably doesn't hold up too well either with how, because those are all computer generated, I think, effects. And,
I don't think I can sit through that movie again to even find out.
oh my
No.
gosh,
That
was such a miss, because I was like, this is like gonna be Private Ryan. That's my favorite war movie, Private Ryan.
Oh yeah.
And there's been some good ones since then. I think Dunkirk would have been better if it was told in the same narrative, like it wasn't like mixed up the way it was. I was okay with it, but I took my grandfather to see it. I'm like, this is gonna be great. I think he was confused.
With
you know?
because it's a non-linear storytelling.
Exactly.
So I can see that.
Like, I just saw that dude, and he looked fine. Now he looks like shit.
I remember seeing. I think it was with don't know if it was my father-in-law or somebody, and they're like, okay, why is it daytime and now it's night?
Yeah.
And now it's daytime, and it's like...
I wonder if that's on like a feature on the Blu-ray. They put it together like in order.
Yeah. Have you seen the
not.
trailer for Tenet?
No, well, yeah. I'm sorry, I did. Yes, and I heard they played the first 10 minutes for maybe Star Wars in IMAX.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. Yeah, that looks good.
It looks
Time
interesting.
travel.
Yeah.
Looks like yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that one. And speaking of war movies, we have is it 1917 coming out in the next few weeks?
That's an IMAX.
Cannot wait
I'd
to
say
see
that.
that.
I saw the trailer for that when I went to go see Star Wars.
That looks good.
Really good.
Sam Mendes.
Yeah.
He'll bring it. Yeah, that looks good. Definitely. But yeah, Top Gun 2 is a June release, I believe. Could be wrong.
Go see it for my birthday.
Oh man, so great. Yeah, I just love the feel of. It looks like Cruise is actually flying. He's not, but it really gives you that effect now.
Yeah.
And the first one did. Actually, what's funny is the first one, all that footage, I don't think it was ever captured much before. And if you go look at like programming after that, like even movies or television, there's shots from Top Gun they use all the time.
Yeah.
You're like, that's Top Gun. Because like I think the military is like, we'll only let them shoot this, no one else, and then we'll just sell the footage. But yeah, I love Maverick's return in this trailer. I love how he's saying he didn't think he'd be asked back, and then that guy was like, "Their orders, Maverick." I'm like, "Oh, that's good. That's good writing. I think it is. It's clever." And then you got John Hamm, as the main commander guy. But I liked how they were given the introduction to him. You're like, man, this is just like the first movie when they're in flight school, and I think it's gonna have like a Force Awakens vibe to it. It's gonna capture new fans, but it's also gonna please old fans. Hopefully, I know that can backfire because you're like, well, this is just a retelling. But come on, it's Top Gun. It's not like Shakespeare. It's like just calm down, people. But yeah, Kelly McGillis is definitely not in this one. They've replaced her. I was saying before the show, I wonder if Meg Ryan will make an appearance. I don't know if they get her out of retirement, but I don't know. That'd be a treat. I think just to see her real quick. I'm curious whose funeral we're seeing in the trailer. That's the second time.
Yeah. See, and that's the only thing that kind of makes me a little nervous about it is like if they follow the same structure as they did in the first one.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
Like where,
It's like Goose's son.
Goose's son dies in an accident.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. That's the only scene I was like questioning. Like, I don't think that's wise. Is when Maverick goes, "Are you guys ready?" And he just like shoves a jet in between the guys. I'm like, dude, you killed your friend. Remember that? Like, maybe you shouldn't do that again. Like, you give the other two jets whiplash, and they're just like spiraling out of control. I don't know. I hope it's not a. It could be the main dude from the first Top Gun. Oh, what's his name? Veteran actor. Damn it.
Michael Ironside?
No, the other one.
Scarrett?
Tom Skerritt?
Yes. I wonder if it's his funeral. Maybe they have a
Could-
send off for his character,
could
or
very
it's
well be.
Iceman's going to be in this. But we all know. Well, I think most of us know Val Kilmer really can't talk anymore. He
Yeah.
had throat cancer. So I wonder how they're going to do that with his character. If they'll just acknowledge, like, yeah, he had throat cancer, and
Horribly dub him like they did in the Snowman or
I
whatever.
watched the clip from that. I couldn't believe. I was like, that's creepy.
That
like,
movie is terrible.
Just doesn't even match.
It's so bad.
It's too bad. Yeah, I wish they could. I don't know what they're gonna do. It'd be really interesting. Maybe he doesn't even have dialogue. Maybe just kind of has expressions.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll get some old other actors from the first one coming back just to have an appearance. But
Yeah.
I'm definitely intrigued. Ironside's still alive, so they could have him come back. Maybe, I don't know. That might be too much fan service. They're all back.
Yeah.
Hey, we're having a reunion picnic from.
I don't know. You have to kind of pick and choose that stuff. Like, you don't want to turn off the new, like you said, the new people, the new viewers to the series or whatever.
Right.
You kind of have to make it appeal to both new and old.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And who knows if this will be like, like the first one was to us when we were kids. If kids are actually going to be like, I love this.
Oh yeah, I mean, like the first one was during all those movies they did about the Cold War and just
there's a lightning in a bottle.
There were so many different things you could pick and choose from back in the 80s that you can't now.
It's just
you can't very well have Maverick and his flyboys go after the Taliban or anything,
right.
But I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do with this.
It just it was just everything just worked in that film, and there was some bonkers stuff. I mean, the whole greasy volleyball scene. Like, I get that was probably for the ladies, but that'd be weird. Like, why are we watching this?
And that was an 80s thing, I think.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's like, we're all straight. Yeah. Bump me pecs, bro. Like, what? And then the scenes in the showers and the towels. I'm like, this is kind of weird. Maybe we can go out to the cafeteria and talk. I didn't think about that as a kid. I was like, yeah, this is normal stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I don't think we even need another trailer, but that's how they do it now. We'll probably get a third trailer before. And
I'm sure we'll get like a teaser or something like that during the Super Bowl or something.
Of course. Yeah. Hopefully it doesn't give too much away. Like, just pump the brakes there a little bit. But Shazam 2, we got a release date for that. Oddly enough, it's on April 1st, 2022. So it is not April Fool's. They have confirmed this. This is real.
Are they getting the same actors and everything like that to playing it again? Awesome.
Yeah. What'd you guys think of Shazam?
I honestly, of all the new DC movies that came out with, Shazam was my favorite.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. It was kind of like if, you gave Superman's powers to basically a teenager.
Sure.
And he can just have fun with it, and of course he's going to goof off and do all this other stupid stuff. But then like they put like Mark Strong in it, and he was a really good villain in it.
He's always a good villain. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. I mean, they could really just take off with Shazam and not worry about anybody else, and I'd be perfectly fine.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I love shitting on DC movies, but I liked Shazam a lot. It was a lot of fun. I liked the humor, good action. I've always liked the Marvel family in general, so seeing them come to life was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. It sucks that toys give away things now, because you go to the toy aisle and like, wait a minute, there's blue Shazam dude and green and like, oh, I wonder if that's at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
That was cool to see. Do you know if that's played upon a lot in the comics with the whole family? Or is that just kind of like when he really needs help?
I don't think it's been played upon much recently in the comics. I know, I think Silver Age, I think it probably was a bit more.
Because it's eye candy.
Mary Marvel's always been around it, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, Black Adam, who is like his main antagonist.
Sure.
One of them, anyway. Mm-hmm. Who becomes kind of an anti-hero more recently. But I'm excited to see what they might do with him. Because I think they've been talking about a Black Adam movie, too.
Right. Yeah.
For a while. And I think interested to see
Dwayne Johnson was kind of pegged to play Black Adam at one point. I don't know if he's still...
Yeah, he's still committed to it. He keeps talking about it. And yeah, he does kind of promote it as an anti-hero. And a lot of people are like, he's not really a hero, but is he kind of an anti-hero now in the comics? He
sort of became that way. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a series from the mid-2000s called 52. It was a weekly series that they put out.
Yeah.
And Black Adam was a big part of that, and he kind of fell into this, not so much of a straight villain role, but more of a bad guy who...
Kind of like Venom, sort of, right?
Yeah.
Retconned it a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. This is more kind of a bad guy who did things his way to protect his country and his loved ones, that sort of thing. But
yeah, I think they're talking he might appear in this Shazam 2. I can't remember when his movie's supposed to be out. Maybe it might be 2021, I'm thinking. Because it would make sense probably to introduce him before. I guess either way, you could introduce him in Shazam 2 and then have his own film. It's kind of cool to do like the Black Panther route, how they introduced him in Civil War and then he got his film.
Yeah.
Like Captain Marvel, let's say, when Infinity War came out, you're like, ooh, you see the symbol. And then by the time Endgame came, you felt like, oh, she'd always been around. We knew of her. Like that movie just helped. Kind of like a little intro here, and then she got her own film, and then you had Endgame, and it made a lot of sense.
Well, I think it was smart with Black Panther too, because you introduced this. I mean, he C-level character for all intents and purposes. He is not a major player necessarily,
right?
And you introduce him in a movie like a Captain America movie, and then the fans, these new fans that don't know him from the comic books,
right,
know him from the movies, they want to go see it. It'd be smart to do that with somebody like Black Adam, because my wife and kids are not going to know who that is.
Right.
Where,
and you can backtrack some of his father's past, even though we saw him die in Civil War. So he didn't have to have that included into his own have like a massive film with all this. It's like there's been a gap in time, and he's like reclaiming the throne, and then you can go back and show his dad as a young man, and kind of like the sins of a father type of thing. Like that's really cool, I think, and interesting. So yeah, I wonder if that's what they're gonna do with Black Adam. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad they're getting another one. First one was pretty good. Earned $400 million, so it wasn't like $1 billion. That's what I hate. Ever since Avengers, film doesn't make $1 billion, it's shit. And I just think it's not fair.
You can't really use that as a benchmark. I mean, that was meant to be a big blockbuster film.
Because it's a culmination. Like, it's a team of...
It's 20 years worth of stories that is coming together in this one movie.
Yeah, and I think Iron Man 3 only made $1 billion because it piggybacked off Avengers. Like, I still think it would have made a lot, but that making $1 billion, like, right after Avengers, I think that's what helped it. Because everyone wanted to see, how are we going to pick up the pieces after Avengers? And then... So I wonder if Thor Dark World, if that came out before, if that would have made $1 billion. Who knows? It had $100 million budget, so I could see them going up to maybe $200 million, and then maybe a potential of $600 to $800 million in profits. I could see that. I think there's a lot of people, because a lot of people didn't see it in the theaters, so they'll watch it at home and maybe learn to love it. Kids will pick up on it more, but it's more kid friendly, even though there are some parts that are kind of like a Ghostbusters vibe a little bit.
A little bit. Monsters kind of had that like Ivan Reitman kind
throwing people out the window.
Yeah.
It's like, damn. He did not care about his brother at all. Well, the main event, basically, Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. Did you guys see this film?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Good. I'll just be talking to myself if you didn't. I want to start with overall opinion. Try to do non-spoilers, and then we'll get into spoilers, and then just go at it and have fun.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Overall opinion, best way to wrap up a series of 9 films. There's a lot of things I can nitpick on it, from a fan standpoint, but overall, whether you've been a fan of Star Wars since episode 4 or you're just coming into it with this new trilogy, you'll enjoy it. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah. And I don't consider myself a diehard Star Wars fan. I like it. I've always liked it. I've followed loosely, this main series, what's in canon. Mm-hmm. I never really followed the extended universe or anything beyond that. I've read a couple of books, but I'm a fan, but I'm not hardcore.
Sure.
And I really liked this film. Again, there's a lot of things that I can nitpick. It's not perfect by any means.
No.
But you're wrapping up and you're introducing all of these new characters within the last 2 movies. They did a good job of kind of wrapping everyone's storyline up. So I was pleased. I was pleased with it. And, my son liked it. And I think the movie did, as soon as we got out of there, he and I went home and we made a list of all of the Star Wars toys that we want to buy.
Oh, just from that movie alone?
Just from in general. I was like,
yeah.
I used to have this and I had this and my favorite thing was this. And I was like, man, I miss having those toys because I don't have them anymore. So I was like, we made a list of all the things. So now I've got a list of Star Wars toys I need to go out and find.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So, the movie did its job from that standpoint for him and I, where I was like, okay, it sparked something in us a little bit.
Sure. You can get those nice 12-inch figures for like $10. I mean,
you
can do a lot with them. Of course, with Stormtroopers, you have to buy a ton of them.
Yeah, well, I'm going to focus more on the vehicles because I was always a fan of the vehicles.
Oh, sure.
So it's, X-Wing, Y-Wing, A-Wing. I lost a couple of eBay auctions this week. But
everybody got on board.
We'll track them down. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. I pretty much feel the same as you guys do. I kind of got some spoilers before just because it was just so damn hard to avoid, and I wanted to... There was already, like, leaks of the plot. Supposedly they were reshooting up to the end. I think they're really trying to make everyone happy, which is impossible, But I think they did a pretty damn good job. Yeah, like, there are some problems I see. But again, in the end, it's a fantasy film, and, I think Star Wars has kind of always had some vagueness to it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really... not like, oh, this is the first time ever we don't have all the answers to things. It's like, it's always kind of been that way, unless you read all the EU stuff, which I never did. I wish I had that knowledge. I do, and I wish Disney didn't throw it all away, because I guess that's what they did. They just kind of ignored any of that stuff from happening. I think Luke originally had like daughters or something, and there's a bunch of things that they, probably could have explored in the movies, but they hire new people for a reason to come up with new ideas, I guess. But yeah, overall, I thought it was pretty good. I'm happy that it's making a lot of money because we've had, Solo, Last Jedi. I guess it's not considered a flop, but definitely pissed people off. Good portion of them anyway, and I think it didn't last as long as it did in the past in China. Like they pulled that right away. So then Solo came out, which it had all that drama about behind the scenes. Like they basically reshot the whole film because the other directors were just kind of not doing what they should have been doing, or what Kathleen Kennedy wanted them to do. And then it also wasn't released on Christmas, which I think we should get a Star Wars movie every Christmas. Ideally,
I think it was too close to the last one.
Yes.
That already had left a bad taste in some people's mouths.
Right.
Yeah.
And then this one, and
all the drama.
You heard about the drama behind it.
Yes.
And I think some people kind of like gave up on it before the event.
He doesn't look like Han Solo.
I liked
he's not Harrison
Solo.
Ford, so
yeah. Exactly. I liked Solo. I thought the worst part of the movie was the guy playing Solo. I didn't like him as Solo. I didn't think he did a good job as Solo, but I liked all the other elements of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought it was relatively underrated.
Yeah, I agree. Did you like Solo?
Oddly enough, that's my least favorite Star
Wars.
Wars
That's all right.
movie.
Hey, I get it.
I didn't. Sometimes less is more when
Sure.
it comes to some of the characters in Star Wars.
Like you don't need to see Solo's story, really.
Yeah, I mean, they could have done a lot better with it, I think, and I think probably a lot of that had to do like with studio involvement and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like there was
Like hit these beats,
When
Kessel Run. You
yeah.
see that him meeting Lando.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like give me like a roadmap up to episode 4 basically,
Sure.
and show me where Solo came from, which they did that. But then like weirdly enough, they add Darth Maul into the end of it, and
Right.
like he's all of a sudden alive. They don't really, unless you've watched the Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff like that, you're like, why is he alive?
Right.
What's
Right.
he doing behind the scenes?
Which I am watching Rebels right now, and I haven't even gotten to the part where they've introduced him.
Right.
When I saw that, I was like, Darth Maul. And then I was talking to a buddy, and I was like, Darth Maul's alive. He's like, no, watch Rebels. And I was like, oh, all right.
yeah.
Yeah, I think they plan on making maybe 3 Solo films. I don't think that's going to happen now, but I could definitely see.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could see them using some of those characters again for sure. I mean, Donald Glover really did a good job, I thought, playing a young Lando.
Yeah, I thought he was excellent in it. I really
Yeah,
did.
and the Falcon, that was interesting to see. Like, it was like there originally wasn't an escape pod at the front. Like, that was kind of cool. Because, they wanted to sell more toys, let's be honest.
Of course.
It's like, why is it so white and clean and it's got a front end on it? It's like, don't worry, they're going to fuck it up by the end of the movie.
Well, and I think, you talk about the Solo movies. I think with the success behind the Mandalorian TV show,
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. And I even like to see them go the route where they do more TV shows instead
definitely.
On a
of
film
movies.
budget.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll definitely talk a little bit about the Mandalorian.
And I'd also like to see him adapt, in that format, some of that expanded universe stuff.
Sure.
Like, give me a Tales of the Bounty Hunter TV series. Give me a Shadows of the Empire.
Oh, Shadows of the
TV
Empire
series.
would be excellent to do as a TV series. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I think that could be really cool.
Well, I think the Mandalorian success will definitely pave the way for a lot of these. And I think you got the right guy behind the scenes, Jon Favreau. He's really a true fan. And I would almost say he's more devoted than JJ. Not to try to knock JJ, but I just think Jon Favreau's a hell of a storyteller and filmmaker.
He is, and he's very loyal to the source material too.
Exactly, and he's even utilized people who've worked in the industry, like the guy who was involved with the Clone Wars, Dave Filoni, I think is his name. He brought him on board. Well, Kathleen Kennedy recommended he partner up with him, and they were able to do what they did, which is brilliant. But yeah, we'll dive back into the Skywalker film, of course. Overall opinion, I'd say it's worth seeing. It's definitely another
I would say
moment.
Yeah, I think if you've gone as far as seeing the other 8 of them, you might.
I mean, you
might as well finish it out
now. Like, I'm not going to see any more of these, but it's an event.
If you can sit through Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, this movie will be a breeze.
There's no mention of sand or how much Anakin hates it in this movie. So, but no, I would say definitely. I know there's people that, after The Last Jedi were like, oh, I'm not going to see Rise of Skywalker because, it's going to suck just like the last one did. They actually do redeem themselves quite a bit with this movie.
I think so too. Yeah.
And going into it, when I first saw the trailer, saw the title, and I was like, that title doesn't really make sense just from what I knew going into it. But after you watch the movie, I'm like, okay, the title makes total sense.
Sure. Yeah, it did its job. Yeah, it's a nice, catchy title. The title is like everything for these films, and that was quite a reveal when they had I think they had the Disney Expo or Star Wars Expo when they first released the trailer, and then Palpatine, which, you get that laugh at the end of the trailer, and you're just like, oh my God, he's back.
Yeah.
Like, should he be back? I don't know, but I get it, because Snoke's gone, we got to do something.
Yeah.
I wonder how much panic is like, I'm sure there's a lot of panic behind the scenes, like we were talking, JJ and Lawrence Kasdan kind of set up, like, go this route, and then Johnson's like, no, I'm going to go this route, and then I'm out.
Yeah.
And then they come back, or JJ comes back, and it's like, okay.
I think, and that was funny because I know that was like my favorite part of The Last Jedi is what they did with Snoke.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I knew a lot of people were like pissed, but I really liked that misdirection that they took it in.
Huge misdirection.
And I was like,
yeah.
I was like, that's.
And he just like thumps on the ground, and his tongue rolls out. I think of his skull. It was just. Yeah, it's like, oh, okay, I guess he wasn't anything special.
Yeah.
Oh, well, moving on. That's what Rian Johnson said.
Yeah.
Moving on. But yeah, let's dive into spoilers now. There's so much to talk about. Likes, dislikes, just anything that comes to mind. We can try and go in order as much as possible. The opening, I want to start with, did you guys at all think for a moment that we'd get the 20th Century Fox logo and the music? Because Disney owns them since the...
Yeah.
last time we saw a Star Wars film.
I wasn't really expecting it.
I wasn't either. I just was. I remember when they bought them. Like, does that mean they're going to put that? Because that kind of is Star Wars in an odd way. But the Lucasfilm still does it for me. You see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you ever think maybe
I wasn't expecting it. And it's one of those things too where I think I'm so used to seeing it, I didn't even think twice that it was there.
Yeah, because we've gotten 2-3 movies.
It
movies.
comes up and like, movie's starting, and then I didn't even think that that's not even really a thing anymore.
Yeah, we've kind of like, it's all right.
But
it would have been a cool fan service thing. But yeah, I'm sure Disney was like, we're not going to put them on this. Are you kidding? Even though it kind of is an iconic thing. But I thought the opening crawl was a lot of info.
It was quite the info dump.
And it was very much of an info dump, but it was like so condensed. It was like you're reading the Cliff Notes version of what would normally be an opening crawl.
You're like, wait, we never even had like any resemblance to Palpatine anywhere. Like brought up.
There's a message sent out with Palpatine's voice on it. What?
He ordered a pizza and they picked up on it.
Yeah,
what's going on?
I was like, is there an end credit scene from the last movie I missed?
Yeah.
And I thought it was a weird decision to reintroduce him off screen between the movies. I thought that was very strange. For a big reveal like that.
Oh, for the crawl to
basically indicate that this has already happened and you missed it. That was very strange to me, but
yeah, like it did set up the whole montage of Kylo Ren, which a lot of people are talking about. It's a montage, the first part of the film. Like, it's never really been done before. It's always kind of had like one scene. I didn't dislike it at all. I thought it was badass, honestly. But it would have been better if they just, because they said Palpatine, and then they said Kylo Ren is going after a something Sith or leader, a Phantom leader. Well, why don't you just refer it to a Phantom leader, and then we discover it's Palpatine together? You know, because that would have been probably a better idea to go for. But I get how, you know, they're going for it. You know, they're unfortunately they're basically cramming two movies into one almost, because the setup was supposed to happen. Like, the setup, you had the setup in the first movie. Second one didn't really go forward with the setup, and then now it's like, okay, here we go. Yeah, we're spooning this into you. Just shut up and eat it.
I think they purposely do that though a lot with Star Wars, because there is those people that write the the EU stories, like the comic books or the novels or fan films or cartoons or whatever. Say like, oh, well, how did we get from here to here?
Right.
Like, how did we get from the final battle of Last Jedi to all of a sudden Palpatine's back?
Sure.
So I'm sure there'll probably be some exploration of that. But
yeah, unfortunately, it's like you have to know that. You know, you have to know the extra material because I'm sure there's like so many. All the questions I have are probably answered or going to be answered, and I probably will never know about it unless I see it on a YouTube video or something.
Right.
Yeah.
But
and they usually do, you know, after a movie comes out or when it's getting ready to come out or something like that, there'll usually be like some 6-issue miniseries released by whoever.
Like a filler.
It says like, this is what happened between there and there.
Yeah.
You know,
let's catch you up. Sure. Yeah. The crawl and the first scenes are jarring, but they're still exciting, especially when we get into the whole, Poe and Finn scene. But yeah, Palpatine, he's like basically hooked up to a bunch of mysterious liquids. We don't know what it is, and because Ren gets this like all this stuff feels like a lot of this movie. It feels like it's borrowed a lot from other movies. Like there's this device you plug into, and then it takes you to another realm or whatever the hell wherever Palpatine is. Later on, we get the dagger, which a lot of people were like, "That's like Goonies," kind of. Which I get it. I mean, they all borrow from each other. So I mean, the original Star Wars was like a play off of old serials that Lucas watched when he was growing up. So it's always kind of been, swashbucklers, all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's all been, used and reused and changed. But that whole scene. A lot of beautiful imagery. He's got that new ship, which do you know what it's called?
I don't.
Ship. I forgot what it's called too, but it's a whole new ship, and they go through that red cloud of whatever, and then they get into it it's like a pyramid, or no, I'm sorry, he gets to the planet, and there's like a big pyramid levitating, sort of, right at the
yeah,
and then you go underneath it, and then he sees Palpatine. I just have like a lot of questions, basically. Like I'm digging it, but it's a lot to take in. I think we all can agree to that. All the Star Destroyers he brings out of the ice or ground or whatever the hell. We were talking like, okay, are these are a lot of Star Destroyers. This is like copy and pasted.
Yeah, there's like thousands of them.
Right. Are they all manned? Like, have these troops been holding their breath for 30 years so they could be taken out of the ground? Like, it would be kind of cool if they were like zombified.
Yeah.
If they went into that. They just a lot of mystery.
Or if he had like a hidden cache of like clones from the Clone Wars.
Yeah, that
just like awakened.
Well, and that's the other thing. This whole audience, they've paid for their bench seats to watch Palpatine just sit there in a harness or whatever. Who the fuck are these people?
Yeah, where'd they come from?
Yeah.
It's funny because, I talk about how it wraps up a lot of things, but for as many questions as it answers, there's a lot of questions that it comes up, that it poses,
and I'm intrigued.
It doesn't answer, where I'm like, okay, so what happens next?
Right.
Because the First Order's still out there.
Right.
They're not gone. The Last Order never really got off the ground, but the First Order's still out there.
Right.
So what's going on there?
This is the Final Order, right?
This is what he calls the Final Order.
The next movie would be the Final Order.
Yeah.
Like, nope, just kidding.
Stop screwing up. Kill these fuckers. Yeah.
The most Final Order.
Yeah, the most the finalist of orders. Yeah. That... Again, I'm very curious. I'm not saying like this is stupid, but yeah, it's like, holy shit, you guys really pulled this out of nowhere, and where's the explanation? Like, are these dudes just standing around? Like,
how long has the Emperor been on this planet? Or, I believe, is he a clone of the Emperor, or is it the Emperor? Because they allude to it kind of being a clone.
Yeah,
because there's a bunch of Snokes in a tube, right? In like a jar.
Yeah, Snoke-looking guys.
Yeah, they're like, these failed.
And he says, when Kylo Ren's like, "I'll kill you," he's like, "I've been dead before."
Yeah. Right. Is he maybe Darth Sidious and Palpatine was a clone, or Palpatine was just
when you look at when you look at the character of Palpatine, he's done so many things behind the scenes that we don't get to see.
Right. Like have kids.
Yeah.
Right.
Have kids. Like, what? Yeah.
There's a Christmas card out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Just
trying to smile like, yeah.
Like, we're randomly going to get a movie of Palpatine, like, going out for cigarettes and not coming back or something. I don't know.
He's got a sweater on and the pipe. Like, this sucks. These kids want everything.
I'll be right back. I'm going to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. And never comes home.
That's Luke's line. Shut up. Yeah. Well,
I don't
even when you get to the third prequel movie, Return of the Sith, Revenge of
the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
You know, Palpatine's talking to Anakin, which is a good scene, I think, when they're watching this opera bubble thing.
Yeah.
And he's saying a lot of mysterious things. He's talking about Darth Sidious. He cheated death, basically. Kind of gives the impression like he really is Darth Sidious, and Darth Sidious is so powerful that he's like he took over Palpatine, and maybe that's what's going on here. But then again, why would he stay in Palpatine and not try to transfer to somebody else? I guess you could say Snoke, but Snoke's really just like a portable device, really, for him. It seems like he's just communicating.
You see that the EU did a really good job of explaining who Darth Plagueis is.
Okay, yeah.
You know, but that again is not considered canon.
Yeah, you don't. So you don't really see any of these other Sith Lords,
right?
In what's now canon,
right?
Yeah,
it's all been done away with essentially. So,
and that might have been more interesting. I think that's where they were going to go. Like I thought anyway, was we're going to see Darth Sidious finally. He's been alive this whole time, and he's like the big bad. Instead of like recycling a villain from the original trilogy, they're going to have like a new and even Luke was like Snoke got to Ben and da 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 da. It's a lot of filler, as for sure. That probably wasn't hard to say what was really in the books from the start. If before Johnson took over, if they were really going to go to Palpatine, or if it's just PR saying, "Oh, we knew what we were doing the whole time." Yeah, you know, like they don't want to give away like we didn't know what the fuck to do.
At the same time, though, like. You know, the original trilogy had a lot of like background characters and a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes that you didn't necessarily get explained.
Right.
And then you go back to the prequels and it's like George Lucas wanted to explain away everything and make everything connected. Like, oh, Darth Vader actually built C-3PO. Like, we didn't need that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and he used to own R2-D2 and...
Like, wow, just shrink your universe, guys.
Yeah.
Just shrink.
Boba Fett's actually a clone. His dad was the... You know, blueprint for the entire clone army, and
like some of that was kind of cool, I guess. But again, I never understood the fascination of Boba Fett because I never saw the holiday special. And I guess that's where a lot of people got their excitement for him.
The thing.
Oh, I did. Like, I didn't watch all of it, but I
find the most intriguing characters in Star Wars are the ones that they don't really explain very well, or just kind of mysterious, like. Darth Maul was my favorite part of episode 1.
Yeah, me too.
You know, the bounty hunters have been my favorite part of Empire because you don't really know anything about them; they just kind of show up.
Right.
And then
it's just weird. Everyone loved
Return of the Jedi. Boba Fett gets taken out like a little bitch, and
screams.
He's just gone.
Yeah, no kidding.
But
there's a balance there, right? It's like, okay, let's explain some of the past to this character, but let's not go really into it. And I think. That could have been handled a little bit better. It's a lot to take in. It's like I said, I think if Palpatine was in the plans from the start, that second film would have definitely built that up more. You know,
it would have nice to have been like had a seed planted in that second scene,
right,
or in that second movie, alluding to that.
Sure.
So that way, when he's introduced before the movie begins, we're not like
like make him the very last thing you see at the end of Last Jedi,
right,
and then you're like. You know, the entire time what you're waiting for Rise of Skywalker, you're like, how did Palpatine come back? What is he doing here?
Right.
Exactly.
Instead of just opening crawl, hey, Palpatine's back.
Right.
Wait, what? Who's this guy?
Totally understand that. And I did like the idea of the voices in Ren's head were Palpatine's the whole time, except we never heard Vader's voice. I think that would have been a better setup if maybe they'll George Lucas it when they re-release Awakens years from now. They'll put the Vader voice in his head, because that doesn't make sense really, because like we never heard Vader talk to him, and he never really acted like he was. I guess he did say a few lines about "show me the way, grandfather" or something, but I think that's kind of a stretch. I could see Snoke for sure, but Vader, it's like, does he even know what Vader sounds like? Did he watch old family videos of Vader? And, oh, he's fighting Uncle Luke again. Like, oh, hey, charmer. Yeah, like that was. I did agree with the Snoke thing, and I guess the Vader thing is kind of cool too. I just wish they kind of planted that seed. I think it's all about more seeds should have been planted before this. And
well, just like the spoilery reveal that Rey is his granddaughter.
Yeah,
was there ever a mention in the past 7-8 movies that he had any kind of family.
No.
And so that I'm not saying I'm mad about it because
it's just weird.
It's just I would have preferred to have seen some reference during the Clone Wars or Phantom Menace where he alludes to having a family of some sort.
Sure, yeah.
Nothing like that.
I was telling Bill it might have made more sense for her to be his daughter than a grandchild.
She's too young though to be his daughter.
Well, what I mean is like I think a lot of people were like, you know, everyone's theorizing like how could they wrap this up? And if it was Palpatine's like blood or whatever, perhaps it was a clone of Palpatine. He wasn't getting Snoke quite right, and so he finally decided to maybe go on a limb, and he made some because he saw the Dark Rey in the previews. A lot of people thought that's a evil clone of Rey. Like there's several Reys, and she is the only one that made it with this clone is out there somewhere. So that was the idea. Like it's a clone of him, but yeah, it's really odd. Like how did that work? Like because they even kind of suggest maybe he fathered Anakin, right?
Well, that's kind of been like the theory going into this movie is that he, you know, when he's telling him the whole story about how, you know, Darth Plagueis can manipulate the midichlorians to create life. Yep. And I think that's kind of what they were trying to go for with this. Like, he didn't necessarily, like, you know, there isn't, like, a secret life that Palpatine had where he, like, went and fathered had this family, and he's like, oh, I got to go to work. You know, put the hood on and go kill younglings or whatever.
Thermos for the day.
Yeah. Got his thermos of blue milk, and he's like going to the Death Star.
They don't have any tits there. I need to bring my own milk.
Yeah, I actually would have preferred it if what they'd set up in the last movie where Rey was really a nobody.
You liked that better.
I liked that better, and I would have preferred that.
Because it kind of broke the mold. Like Luke was somebody. He was undiscovered.
And I think it's one of those things. I mean, the galaxy's any galaxy. It's big.
True.
And I think they make it feel really small when you bring all of these characters in. And they do a couple things in this movie that make the galaxy feel really small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they, I think that I liked it better where she was her own thing, not related to any of them.
Right.
She can still, say that she's a Skywalker at the end. That's fine.
Sure.
You know, because she doesn't know what her last name is otherwise. And I think, you look at like the a Rogue One movie and how those are characters or a bunch of nobodies who are not related to anybody else.
Right.
Yeah.
And they didn't really I liked every one of them almost better than most of the characters that we've been introduced in these last 3 movies.
Right.
Yeah. Like, I mean, Jyn Erso and all them in Rogue, like, that's why Rogue One's one of my favorite movies, because they don't need to go back and explain all this crap. Like, who is this person?
Right.
You know, oh, she's really the, second cousin of Lando Calrissian or something, like,
They kept saying that about Finn, I think. Was it Finn? They're like, oh, he's Lando's son. Like, Jesus, everyone doesn't have to be related.
That was my take on it. So I did like what Johnson had set up in the last movie where, she's a nobody. And that really anybody can have this power. It's not limited to just one family or two families in this case.
Yeah.
I think it was best to if she wasn't so damn powerful, I think I would have been more cool with that. But her being Palpatine's descendant kind of gives reason for why she can do everything. But I almost thought if she was a clone, she was trained to do like everything, and then her memory got wiped somehow, and that's just how she knows how to do things because she was trained, but it was forgotten.
Yeah. Well, then there's these weird retcons where it's like, oh yeah, Luke and Leia knew who she was.
Yeah.
When would they have known that?
Yeah.
And why?
I mean, there is some kind of something happening, I think, in the Awakens with Han and Leia. With her, it feels like they might know something, I guess, but I don't know. It's kind of like why Luke would have definitely said something,
right? And he had no idea who she was, and
that
or he was like very good at just pretending.
He didn't know where she's from.
Like, well, and he even in like Last Jedi was like, "Who are you? Like, where do you come from?"
Yeah,
and he's like, "I've felt this kind of power before, and it didn't scare me enough then. It does now."
Yeah, and he wasn't asking her like, "Do you know who you are?" Because I do. It was more like, "I don't know."
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Who you are.
Well,
yeah, so that was a very strange bit of there was a lot of that in this movie just because I think Abrams was trying to do his best to erase
he wanted Luke
what
to
had
do
come
more,
just
I
before
think,
it.
you know, like that. Unfortunately, that's all we got from his first film is you just see Luke just standing there, right? And then Johnson's like, okay, throw a lightsaber over his back
Like,
and
get off my planet.
yeah, I'm gonna go suck some titty milk now. Like, weird. Like, damn, you know, because Hamill, he kept saying like, I do not agree with this direction of Luke. So I was hoping, because that's the other thing that's been vague about Star Wars, I think, is the whole ghost concept. Like, if they can vanish, can't they just maybe reappear?
Well,
like,
you see, and like Luke's ghost in this last one, he could do everything regular Luke can do.
Yeah.
There's really no downside.
Even Yoda in the Jedi.
Yeah, there's no downside.
Cast lightning down on the...
Yeah, there's no downside in being a ghost at this
right.
for any of them.
That would have been the biggest FU to Rian Johnson, I think, is if Luke just came back out of where he was. He's like, yeah, that's a new power.
Yep. I teleported.
Because I so badly wanted to see a cleaned up Luke kick some ass. Like, we finally, thankfully, we got that The Last Jedi, although it wasn't really real. Like, he did that.
The force projection or
that's
whatever.
what I wanted. I think that's maybe the direction they were going to go, is they were going to pick Luke up. He's going to come to his senses or whatever the hell, join them, redeem himself for what he did. Apparently, him and Lando did some missions to find the
Wayfinder thing and all that.
Yeah. It's like, I thought he just fled. It must have been before Ben changed to Kylo Ren or something. Like, they just kind of gave up. Like, I get what they're doing, you know. I could understand if I was Abrams, I guess, like how frustrated I would be. Like, man, I had all these ideas. And I even worked with a guy who worked on the original, like, popular films. And then this guy comes along and they're like, Disney's like, do whatever you want. Like, that just felt reckless as hell. And I think it showed. Like, definitely pissed off people.
The other confusing bit, too, is when Leia just decides to go die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that was like, I have to reach out to my son and like
you're in the middle of this battle.
Right.
And you're just like, I'm
just
going to go lay down
and
over
die
here.
now.
I understand because, it's like they took footage from Awakens to make whatever Leia we got. And, I don't know.
And my preference still would have been that she die in the last movie.
Yeah.
Right.
And not even be in this one.
They totally could have done that, too.
I don't know why.
I
don't know why they didn't.
Yeah, that was one thing I really hated about Last Jedi. It was like they shoot her out of the cockpit.
Yes.
She's like in space and suffers zero effects of not having any oxygen, and just kind of like force wills herself back to the bridge.
Do you think you would
It's
have
just
been more forgiving if she hadn't passed? You know, for her to just die like do you think maybe that's why they didn't? And they probably already decided she wasn't going to die. She's going to do that thing, whatever. But let's say she got sucked out, right? But she died in real life. I wonder if they would have been like, we got to make this right. We can't just have her go out like that, or I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
I mean, and it was pointless for her doing that, because you hear her voice. She does reach out to Ben.
Yes.
And maybe she's the one that like made him see Han.
Right. Yeah,
maybe.
a lot of people thought that's
but
actually
like
pretty good. Yeah.
I don't know.
The whole training Rey, though, it just feels... I mean, we get that flashback scene with young Luke and Leia training. Like, this is all stuff people wanted, I think, to see, and it was in the EU, I believe, maybe, some of it. So it kind of helps like explain why Leia can train and why she could do what she did through space.
It was nice to see that because, leading up to that, there'd never been any mention of her going through Jedi training.
Right, here's a lightsaber. Like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, but the flashback helps establish that.
That flashback should have been 2 movies ago.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and it's actually probably maybe the first flashback in Star Wars history. Maybe. I'm thinking. I mean, I'm not counting Mandalorian or anything.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but yeah, I get what they were doing with that. And someone had to train her because Luke's dead. But although Luke could have trained her as a ghost, didn't Ben?
Yeah, I mean,
that's the whole thing with these ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, Obi-Wan kind of directed him to Yoda,
right?
And then like he did a lot of his training like between Empire and Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. It seemed like,
and you didn't see that.
No.
So yeah,
because when he shows up in Return of the Jedi, he is a Jedi Knight at that point.
Yeah, he has a new lightsaber.
Or a Jedi Master, I guess, would be.
Yeah.
Right. And then Palpatine, I think, in this movie says she cannot become a Jedi, but if you go by the old way, she is a Jedi at the beginning of the film because she's basically trained and she's so damn powerful. Like, she's more powerful than, and I get it because special effects come a long way. You can have her do more things. The whole Leia thing, I think she looks better in Awakens than she did in Jedi. I don't know if it's a makeup artist, but she just looked kind of like Addams Family vibe, you know, with the makeup or something. She looked more refreshing in the Awakens, you know.
Yeah.
And so you could definitely tell, like, oh, this is footage from Awakens, because it just looks,
And then I want to talk about the other death too that I think they pussed out on and they should not have.
Yeah.
And that was Chewbacca's.
Right. Yep.
Because that made no sense to me that all of a sudden there's a second transport that we didn't see.
Right.
Yeah.
No one else saw it. And that hit me in the gut emotionally when that happened. I was like, holy shit, they just killed Chewie.
Especially her acting.
Yeah.
She just like screams.
And then, then like a minute later, I'm like, God.
I think that would have, you know, I agree with you on that. I don't think that they should have pulled it back and said, "Oh, there was a second transport. We have."
Well,
Chewbacca.
then he did nothing else the entire movie.
Yeah,
he had no other role to play really in the entire movie.
Just more in Leia, and he was with Billy D in the Falcon, which was kind of cool. But you saw that in the trailer, so it was like we kind of knew he was gonna. And then I also thought, well, there goes the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
Because I was excited to see them ever since that flashback. There's another flashback in Awakens. And she gets that with Luke and the temple, the original temple being destroyed or something. You see the Knights of Ren. I'm like, that's badass. And I was asking Bill before we recorded. They were Luke's students, correct? They were those Jedi students he had, and Ren.
I believe so. I think that's what he.
Yeah. But it's like, where's their lightsabers? That would have been so badass. Like, where's their
They
lightsabers?
looked really cool, but they didn't do anything.
They didn't do shit. No. They
were
just kind of just
worthless.
stood around, and then Ren killed him with a lightsaber.
Yeah.
I was very intrigued about the whole Knights of Ren thing, and then the second one didn't have that at all. Third one, they brought him back. I'm glad they did. I wish they had more to do. I do find it funny that we had this new concept. You know, it's to sell toys. Let's be honest. The Sith Troopers, right? They got the red paint job. They don't really. They're just there. They don't. It's like, these are our Sith Troopers. It's like, nope. They're just around.
Yeah.
There's no introduction. It's just kind of like the red dudes in the
Emperor's Royal Guards.
Yep. Yeah. So it's just kind of like the same concept, which it's fine. I get it. You know, I'm glad they got rid of that red arm C-3PO had. That was so stupid.
Yeah. It was like they
Even
were
the
going...
line. He's like, I bet you want to know why I have. No, I don't want to know. I don't fucking care.
Like,
I know why, because it's a toy on the toy aisle. They can't just sell the kind of like why they put Ren's mask back in this. They just refurbished old Ren mask. Like, let's put red lines on it. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? It's been so weird about. I think some things shouldn't be said. You know, like, why do we have to talk about masks? Like, everyone wears a mask in this whole universe, whatever. It's like they just keep kind of making fun of it for him, which I get because he doesn't really need it. But then it's like, it's funny how he didn't just build a new mask. Like, I gotta find my old mask. Like, here, put it back together. You'd think he'd like fabricate a Darth Vader helmet or something.
You would think so.
But what do you think about that whole concept, the whole mask thing?
I think the reason why he did that is because it was kind of showing his distance from Snoke and him kind of coming into his own.
Yeah.
Because the whole reason he got rid of the mask in The Last Jedi was because Snoke was like, oh, that thing is ridiculous. He'll never be Darth Vader. And so he's like, yeah, screw it. I'll just, go around looking like plain old Ben.
It's fan service to haters, basically. Yeah. Like, he doesn't need that damn mask. Take it off. Yeah.
I think he did it more to fit in with the Knights of Ren and kind of show, like,
right.
His fully accepting of him being Darth Vader's grandfather or grandson, whatever,
I want to like deleted scene with the mask maker. He's like, I've got other masks behind me. He's like, no, put this one back together.
But the
it's gonna
funny
take
thing
hours.
was,
like, put it back.
The funny thing was that scene. It was like, and I don't know if they used an actual, like, chimp for it or whatever.
Oh right, yeah.
But it was like basically a chimpanzee with a mask on that was like welding his mask back together.
And he didn't really give it any time to cool off. He just kind of threw it right on his head.
He did.
I thought he was. That's another scene.
See, I thought he was going to do like a Doctor Doom thing, like because Doctor Doom did that in the comics, where like they made his mask and he's like so vain that he wants to put it on right away, but it's still hot and it like disfigures himself.
Doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt.
It doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt. I get it off.
I'll be right back. Yeah, that was funny.
I don't know. There was a lot of things that I could nitpick with this movie.
There always
but,
is.
I mean,
with these.
ultimately, it is a good one.
I enjoyed it. Yeah, I really did enjoy it, and I thought it was a good way to end things. And I definitely want to see more. I want to see more of Rey. Do you think it was always to be a Skywalker saga, or do you think they just kind of retconned that whole idea too? What do you think about that?
I think it's always been that from the beginning. I mean, if you think of it, you've got Anakin Skywalker, you've got Luke in the first 3, you've got Luke Skywalker in the second 3, and then you've got what really probably should have been Rey Skywalker in the last 3. So I think it's always been that. I think that's how it should have been. So I liked that. Yeah, there are a lot of things, and it's funny because you see a lot of the online, what the people online hate, and I'm like, actually, I like that. And then there's things that I disagree with them on as far as I don't like that.
When I heard the leaks, I was like, I kind of dig some of this. If it's
true. There was just a lot of strange decision making, like Poe. Basically, turning Poe into the Han Solo basically type origin, unnecessary. Even that character that we met, unnecessary. It's funny because a lot of people online were very upset that they diminished Rose Tico's character. I'm glad because she was my least favorite part of the last movie.
Exactly.
I thought it was largely unnecessary. That entire scene where she and Finn go to that gambling planet.
Canto Bite.
I did not like that scene at all.
Yeah.
And
I didn't either.
Didn't think that it was necessary. So when they, with her in this, when they kind of like put her in the back seat, I was fine with that.
Yeah,
I liked that.
It was fan service, I think,
because
most people.
Yeah, but a lot of people are like, "Oh, the angry fans got their way." I didn't look at it that way. I just felt that it was unnecessary. The romance between the two seemed forced anyway.
Yeah.
I had said from the beginning, I always wanted Poe and Finn to hook up. I thought that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah.
But and not in a necessarily because it's Disney and not in a gratuitous way, but in it may be a more
that would have been ballsy.
Bromance type way.
Yeah. Sure.
So I would have rather seen a focus on that. Because they were always like teetering on that, I felt. And then they dialed it back. And then they introduced Rose and they really dialed it back. But then they even brought it a little bit more to the forefront in this movie.
Yeah.
So
like none of them really had a love triangle or anything. Like, you could always tell Finn was more into Rose or Rey than she was of him.
Well, then he was like, I got something to tell you.
Right.
And then he never...
You know what's funny, though? I don't care. I don't care to know what he's going to tell her.
He never said
I know a lot of
anything.
people are like, what is he going to tell her? Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work. Even if he probably is like, I love you, but she doesn't feel the same.
It's just one of those weird things, though, that they throw out there and never follow up on.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I was telling Josh this before we started recording. Like, you could really take Rose out of both films and they would be the same film.
Yeah. Like, absolutely.
It wouldn't make any difference.
Like her sister's sacrifice, I think that's good stuff right there. I think. Yeah. I mean, I think her character is not bad. It's just what they.
She could have used a lot more development.
They put her in the problematic parts of that film. The whole Canto Bite, like them leaving, and then that just felt really stupid to me. Like, why would you leave, or if you could leave undetected, why would you not bring back a bigger ship or something, or just pay a bunch of like Han Solo types to help you?
Well, that's the thing too, is like they never actually met up with the Master Codebreaker.
They almost did, and they got arrested.
They got arrested
because they made themselves aware. They parked right on the damn beach. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like, you can't just park on
It's like a covert mission, guys. Like what do you?
Yeah,
parking on the back 40 of like Wakanda Club or something. You can't just like park on the golf course and expect it to be okay.
Yeah, like, supposedly Lando was going to run that Canto Bite, which would have made
really
cool.
That would have made a lot of sense too.
Right.
Yeah. He could have even been the code breaker.
That would have been even better. Yeah. Well, back when we had Wizard World here, like maybe the first time Billy D was here in town. This is after Awakens came out, I think. And everyone wanted to ask him, like, "Are you going to be in these new films?" And at that time, he said he was not contacted at all. And I find that really terrible. Like they really could utilize him that last one. I'm glad we got to see him again. Yeah. I think he did a pretty good job in this one.
Well, yeah, and that was the thing too, is I think that they did a lot of like fan service Easter egg type stuff.
Yeah.
Like he comes back with this whole fleet of ships. It's him and Chewbacca flying the Millennium Falcon. They've got Wedge Antilles on the gun.
Yeah, which he didn't get much to do. He was like
No,
one scene.
he was
Good
just like-
shooting. That's it.
It's like, here we go. It's
It
like,
was
what?
cool though.
You're back. What?
Why not more?
We're going to get a Wedge series.
And then Chewie finally got a
Retirement
medal.
years.
At the very end,
That
Chewie
was
finally
cool.
got a medal.
Yeah,
That was
I know.
pretty
A
cool.
lot of people are like, "Oh, it's stupid."
Like, what is that for? It's like, no, it's
Everyone's bitched about like they
Han Solo's
literally
fucking
tried to
medal.
please everybody in this movie.
They did.
They did.
They did.
Like,
It was like
everything.
We're going to take all the grapes that we've gotten from the original trilogy, and we're going to try and wrap them up with this one.
right.
Like, I mean, you can't go back and like retcon Jar Jar, unfortunately, with this movie, but Darth
Right.
Jar, all
I
those
think
Darth Jar Jar.
Jake Lloyd's more troubling than
things.
Jar Jar to me in that original Phantom Menace. Jake Lloyd
man.
is so bad. Well, so was Hayden Christensen.
This
Jesus.
is pod racing.
There was a
No
lot of
thanks.
really bad things
not
about
fair.
those first.
It's just funny how a lot of people are like, Lucas should have did the movies. Like, no, you would have been pissed even more if he did these
He
new
was-
films.
When he did Revenge of the Sith, he was so burnt out on Star Wars by that point, and you could tell in the writing, and he just like, let's get it done. Let's get to episode 4.
Yeah.
We're done with this.
Right.
I don't care anymore. You know?
Right. Now, I did like Last Jedi. I do have a lot of problems with it, but what I did like, they introduced, and I know a lot of people are bitching about these new Force powers. The healing. We can talk about that, but also the Force Skyping, where
Now,
they can talk.
Someone had said, I'd heard that the healing was even done in A New Hope,
Yeah.
that Obi-Wan uses it on Luke after he gets attacked by the Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
I totally had missed
shit.
that forever. Like, I never caught on to that.
You're right,
Yeah.
because doesn't he put his hand on
and
it?
so
puts his
that's
hand on him and
been
then,
a
okay.
thing, it sounds like.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to go back
yeah.
and watch it again and see if I can catch it.
Right.
Because I never caught on to that as a kid or whatever, or even as an adult.
Right. Well, and it does help if anyone watching Mandalorian. Have you seen Mandalorian?
I've not finished it.
Okay. I
But
don't want
I'm
to give too much away.
almost there.
But they introduced something that I think is more accepting now. That they just did that right before this movie came out.
Yeah.
But
Which I mean, really, it makes sense. Like if you can like move stuff with your mind, it makes sense that you could kind of like
Transfer
seal
energy.
up a wound.
yeah,
Like kind of.
it's not too much of a stretch.
I mean, it's not, but
There's
it's
so
kind of
much-
like
yeah.
they're putting their own Force energy into somebody to heal them.
it's expanding the universe, and you could say, well, it's for plot's sake, and there's no stakes. But it's like it's the damn Force, guys. Like they can do all kinds of stuff that they really haven't established yet.
It
unless
makes a
you
lot
read all the
more-
books and stuff. Yeah.
It makes a lot more sense than what they did in the books, because I think like in the books when like Han and Leia's twins grow up and become Jedis, like supposedly Jedi tears can heal people.
Really?
I don't know. It's really stupid.
Get your Jedi water.
Yeah. Like one of them got stabbed and the other one cried and it healed them, or
Whoa, what?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
I'm just glad they didn't go anything that far fetched, but
I do like the Force Skyping that they introduced in the last film. You know how she's able to talk to Ren?
That was my favorite scene in that film, is when they're talking to each other and he can't figure out where she's at until they knock over the kind of the table that the Vader mask was sitting on.
yeah.
Oh,
That
yeah,
was my
yeah,
favorite scene.
yeah.
Where he was like, doesn't know where she's at. They're going back and forth, and then he
it's
sees
like
the mask
Snoke did it
because it kind of like
originally,
falls into
or Palpatine.
his
Yeah.
area. And I was like, all right, that was my favorite scene in that entire movie.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And then
I thought that was cool. I was a little bit like, I don't know. I thought it was a little bit far fetched when you could like pass stuff through the Force to people,
yeah,
like where she like takes her lightsaber and like puts it
that
on
was
her
kinda
back,
cool,
and then
though, 'cause
like he just
like
out outside
this,
and
he's like
pulls it out.
I'm like, oh, well, he grabs the necklace and he's like, track where she's at. Like I thought that was kind of clever. They were kind of alluding to that because the last film, remember when she's got rain on her?
Yeah, and he gets his hand, he pulls his hand
Yes.
back and it's wet. Yeah.
So it is a little stretch, but it kind of alluded to that possibility. Like that's something new. They really haven't explored before. But
Yeah.
it was cool. Yeah, I knew in a minute she destroyed that, he's gonna freak out. Like that's my grandfather.
Yeah.
That's his ashes, you bitch.
At least there was no no scene in this movie. I'm just
Oh God,
glad about that.
take that out. Light speed skipping. What did you guys think about that concept? Again, that really moved things. Like it was almost like a theme park ride, kind of. It's like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. I
thought that was cool too. Yeah.
Did they explain the reason why they did it that way? Was because they still the First Order. I keep wanting to call them Empire. They should really just be called Empire. But you think it's because they can track them still? Is that why they did
I think it was more of like we have to get out of here and we don't have time to like plot our course through light speed. Just hit it and hope we don't blow up. Kind of
like appeared into a city. Like good timing there.
It kind of looked like Cloud City too. I don't know if it was meant to be that.
Right. Yeah.
But it kind of looked like it was Cloud City for a minute. But.
Well, they ever since the JJ films, or ever since Awakens started, they have introduced new concepts of light speed. Like for instance, Han. They went to light speed when they were in their cargo ship in the Awakens film. And they just like hyperspace out or light speed out of there. And then in Jedi, what was it? When they were being tracked by that was a new thing. They could track them.
They could track them. Yeah.
Which sucked because that was a whole. That was another problem I had with Jedi. Was like they're just cruising along, and the First Order's like right here. They can take them out at any time, and they're just like, let's just have fun. Let's give them a chance. Like that was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And the whole fuel thing, which I was talking to Bill before, fuel was introduced in the first film, A New Hope, where they locked it into the X-wings but to really get into the Mad Max of the fuel importance, I thought that was kind of, like, oh my God, really? We're just treading along because it's like they're all sitting still inside, and that's something I was going to say earlier about Leia going out. A lot of people thought it would have been cool if they had her pull the Holdo. Is it Holdo who sacrificed herself with the ship? Like,
that was my favorite scene of that movie.
That was pretty
cool.
She
like speeds
just, like,
into that Super Star Destroyer and like
a lot of people like they should have done that because they probably could have made it happen. Yeah. They could have spliced her image on something.
I think that would have been good to have Leia light speed into the ship. Laura Dern sort of take her place as the leader of the rebels.
Like the new general.
She could have been featured. Like, I don't think Poe needed to become a general. I think that's what he wanted to do, but that's the one thing towards the end of this film is I think he should have never said, I'm sorry we failed. Like, I think he should have been strong to the end. Like, we're gonna
those titles never really meant anything to me because I remember like Return of the Jedi when they
everybody was a general by then.
Yeah, sounds like they made you a general. Anyway,
Lando,
you're a general. You're a general.
Yeah,
you're gonna be a general.
Oprah was in the scene. Yeah. Like, you get a general. Yeah, and then Leia was like in the new film. She goes back and forth from being a general to a princess. It's like, which is it? I did find it weird that her body was there the whole time. I'm like, is that gonna start smelling a little bit or something? Did you just spray some mist on it? It was kind of cool how she didn't leave until Ben. She was waiting for him. So I wonder if she was kind of guiding him still. Yeah. Maybe she's pretending to be dead.
I did, speaking of Ben, I did like his, his story of retribution. I did buy into that. I liked how that was done. Yeah. It was believable to me. I didn't think it was, super out of place.
Right.
Yeah. I liked the cameo by Harrison Ford.
That was cool.
So I like giving him some advice.
Yeah, so. That was nice. It was just like kind of mimic that last scene of his in Awakens, but it went a different route.
It's kind of the way I saw him going. I mean, they really did a good job of starting him on that journey very early on. Even when he would do something shitty and evil, he still, you could see that he was still fighting it inside, and he didn't necessarily know that was the right path.
With Leia, he hesitated to shoot the bridge or whatever, the ship, but also, it's funny how you go from you hate Ren, you understand him, hate him again, and then this one you're like, he can't be redeemed. But if you think about it, Anakin killed younglings, and we were like, oh, he's back, yay! Like he did some bad shit, but Ben just killed his dad. That's all right, but. No, I loved Ben Solo. Like, I was like, oh, finally I'm getting some stuff like I want to see more of. And unfortunately, he didn't make it. But I loved the whole, he was even comedic once he turned back to the good side. Like, that would have been really cool to see. It almost would have been cool to start the whole trilogy of a Ben Solo and then his descent a little bit. Yeah. And then maybe he comes back. Like, he doesn't quite go there, but he kind of plays around with the dark side a little bit. Like, that would have been interesting because Adam Driver's a good actor, and he really he did a damn good job. He really was able to kind of have that Han Solo-esque to him. When he's like all the Knights of Ren surrounding him, and he's just kind of like rolling his eyes like, oh God, here we go. And he's like bending over, like kind of stretching or something or recovering because they're kicking the shit out of him. And he just gets that lightsaber, pulls that out. I thought that was a pretty cool move. And then him side by side with Rey, which is kind of like they did that in Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, man, Palpatine screwed him up. But that was a kind of a twist. How he was trying to sustain them, right? And then he discovered, oh, I can suck the life out of you, and I get healed. Right?
Yeah, I think he was like trying to steal the Force energy from him or something. I don't.
That was
crazy.
crazy.
It was another thing they didn't
like,
really totally explain, but
right. He's like, you strike me down, then I'll go into you, and then all these other dudes will go in, or ladies too. I didn't mean to sound like that. This turned into a porno all of a sudden. Nobody's like, well, V and you. Well, that's even bad too.
My power will pass to you.
What did he say? Did he even say anything?
He was like,
that?
If
I'll pass through you.
Yeah, it was something like if she killed him, his power would pass into her.
Yeah.
I don't know.
None of it sounded like a good deal to me.
No.
So I guess just reflecting his power, which sucks because Luke could have just like grabbed Vader's lightsaber in the original and done that crisscross action. But only she could do that. Like, it still killed her, right? Or was she wounded before?
No, I think that
actually killed her, and then Ben came in and was like, take my life force.
Take my life away.
Yep.
What do you think about the kiss? Did you think that was too far? Maybe we could have just been like a handshake or something, high five?
No, I think it's something that he wanted he wanted to kiss her from the beginning.
Yeah, they kind of had that.
I mean,
he did.
She never,
sure.
like there was never any reciprocation on her
Yeah.
end where, like, I never got that she felt that way. So I think this was just kind of like pity on her part, and passion on his.
Yeah.
So it was a little awkward, but I think that that was its intent. So
Right. What do you think of General Pride? Richard E. Grant played him. Good actor. Menacing. Killed Hux because Hux was a spy.
Hux, So Hux, he kind of went out like a bitch, and I was like, man.
Yeah, I was a little
kind of hoping he would have gotten some more screen time.
Yeah, that was kind of
especially once he was revealed as the mole.
Yeah,
I was kind of hoping for some more of that, and then
like he didn't care if he survived because he's like, I just want Kylo Ren to die.
Yeah, and then like a second later,
he was a
taken
bitch.
out.
I mean, Johnson definitely made him a bitch. Like, I could say the humor I didn't care for in The Last Jedi. Some of it was just kind of like your mama jokes. I'm like,
like when Finn's having the whole conversation, or not
Poe.
Finn, but Poe's having the conversation with him. He's like, holding for General Hux.
Yeah.
It's like,
and then he keeps repeating himself, like, dude,
like
this is like Spaceballs. Like, why are we doing this? Like, let's not do this. But I do like when he screws up and then Snoke comes out and he's like, oh, Snoke, yes, and he just like picks him up and does like a Bruce Banner or a Hulk Loki thing.
Yeah,
Hux was a bitch. Like, he was just hype. Like, even that first movie, I think they were pushing to be such a badass. That speech and blood in his eyes. He's just like, and it's just like, what are you going for? Like, it kind of sucks they had to bring in a different general guy to kill him.
But I thought it was kind of cool though how he was someone who served the Empire back. Yeah, like back during the original Civil War and everything. I think that was kind of cool, but just to kind of like shoehorn him in and have him be this like big bad.
There's no mystery. Like, he definitely died. Yeah, he shows body just standing there and it's slivering out the window. And same thing with Palpatine. Like, he is dead this time, we think. She just incinerates him. He's like, Well, that was another thing in the beginning when she was training. She was trying to have all the Jedi, like, are you with me? All this stuff. And then finally you get that It's a Wonderful Life moment when she's laying down and she goes into space and they're like talking to her with the stars. Yeah. And you hear Anakin. Some people said Qui-Gon was there.
Yeah. Yep. And you hear Mace Windu.
Yep. I picked up on that. And then
I think you heard like
Yoda,
Luke. Leia.
Not Han though. Did we?
No, I don't think Han was in there.
Yeah. Which is why Han was a memory, not a ghost. That makes sense, I guess. Yeah. Did you ever think Han was gonna, like, when that happened in Awakens? I know a lot of people were like stretching it out, like, oh, he probably landed on something and he's fine. Like, do you think he was actually dead?
I thought he was. I thought he was, and I was kind of pissed about it at the time. Yeah. Because, I wanted to see more of him back in that role. So I was mad about it at the time. And then for a long time, I thought too that he is actually the one that turned the lightsaber on in did that to himself and not his son.
He did?
No, that's what I thought.
Oh,
that's kind of where I thought they could go with it, because they never clearly show.
Right, he just kind of shook it or something.
Yeah,
right?
and so that's kind of where I thought they were going with it, but I guess it was his son the whole time, so that's fine.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it would have been too much of a stretch.
But no, I wanted more of Han at the time. It's funny how I was mad when they killed Han, and then I was mad in this one when they kept Chewie alive. Because
they all have to die. Yeah, Lando served a pretty good purpose, I thought.
I thought so.
He is in his 80s. I don't expect him to be running around and stuff. But
yeah,
it was cool to finally bring him back, and I thought he did a pretty good job.
They should have kept Chewie dead and had his co-pilot be Nien Nunb.
Right.
Just like in Return.
Or the robot guy, right? What was his face from Cloud City? He had the headset.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Something bot or something. Yeah.
Lobot.
Well, R2 got to do some more stuff finally in this. And C-3PO, he got red eyes for a second and decoded some Sith material.
They introduced another useless droid.
I thought that was a little bit.
Does nothing.
Oh, I knew that from when they did the Star Wars convention thing, whatever. That thing rolled out, and I actually thought it was a joke at first because it literally looked like a blowhorn with a wheel on it. I'm like, they're just playing with this. This is a real character.
It reminds me of one of the I don't know if you guys remember this, but there was like a comic series and maybe I think it was a cartoon, but Defenders of Dynatron City, and it looks like one of the characters from that.
I did like his no thank you lines. That was kind of funny.
No thank you.
It's like no thank you.
Oh, when they try to touch him.
Yeah, like, no thank you. Yeah, that was
hashtag me too.
Yeah, right. Zori Bliss. I like this character, even though we don't know too much about her. Is she a bounty hunter or is she a spice smuggler? Because I guess Poe used to do that with her.
I don't know.
I don't think she's. I think she's just like a freedom fighter, resistance person.
I dug her a lot, like the look, and you never saw her face, you just saw her eyes. Kerry Russell, of course, plays her.
Kerry Russell did a great job in it. I think.
Well, I wonder if she's an alien because the helmet's so big in the back.
I think she was I think this was like the new trilogy's version of Boba Fett. Like someone who's just kind of like mysterious, pops up, everyone thinks is cool. You don't really get too much background on him.
Yeah.
But it leaves you wanting more kind of thing.
Yeah, I would love to see her in a series or, pop up in a series or something. With The Mandalorian, of course, it's set at different times, but it would be really neat to see more of her character. Like that, I'm really intrigued about what the future is with these characters. Like, are they going to... Hopefully they'll explore more. But then again, it's like, if this is the end of a saga, are we going to have a new saga, or are we just going to have solo films, like no episodes, basically? Like how... I think they maybe have trapped themselves a bit, like making a Skywalker saga, because then it's like, what's the next saga going to be? Like,
the thing is though, like even with the Mandalorian, they've proven that you don't need a series based off of the original characters or connected to the original characters in any way to make an effective Star Wars story.
Yeah,
like you can start with a whole new cast of characters, like go to the Outer Rim territories and.
Yeah.
Show like how the war has affected everybody,
right.
or something. I mean, you don't really need to focus on,
Well, and just like what they have with Marvel and all those properties, with Star Wars, with the franchise, there's so much source material that they can draw from.
Oh yeah.
They've got decades and decades and decades of stories that they can put together and expand on or go back to. There's so much there that they can do.
Which was funny when Kathleen Kennedy said, like, months back, how, unlike Marvel, who they have all the source material to pull from, we don't. It's
what? You do.
Yeah, you do.
You've got movies, you've got the EU.
You've got movies, you've got cartoons, you've got
comics,
video games.
Yeah, great
so
video
much
games
they can,
out there. Yeah.
So much that they can inject, and they can make it as... And like I said earlier, like the galaxies are huge.
Yeah.
And they've really tried to make this galaxy feel really small.
Yeah.
And it's not going to take much effort for them to shift and say, okay, no, this is actually much bigger than we think.
Right.
Because like even at the end of this one, First Order's still out there. The Rebels haven't won really the war.
Right.
And you've got worlds that we've only scratched the surface of.
Right.
So.
Well, it just goes to show you, like, okay, well, the original trilogy ended with a celebration like this one, but we know, like, this isn't the end. There's going to be another threat. It's like it's just going to keep. This is the pattern. It's like it's not over forever. Mandalorian actually does a good job of like exploring the because we see all the celebration and Return of the Jedi, right? We think everything's perfect now. Well, Mandalorian definitely shows you like people are still picking up pieces from all the years of war and things like that, and there's like factions and so like you can explore all of that.
Yeah, and that's the other nice thing too with the movies is you've got between the 3 trilogies, you've got these large gaps in time that you can fill all these holes in on.
Right.
Between the end of the Clone Wars and when A New Hope, basically, that the cartoons have done a lot of that, but the cartoons have a rather limited audience.
Right. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
To kids and nerds like us.
Right.
Yeah. But your average moviegoer is not going to sit down and watch the Clone Wars saga cartoon series or Rebels.
They need the Cliff Notes of the connection. Yeah. And I want new threats, unlike the Death Stars. I think there's too many. Like that's what they did with this series again. Like even the original trilogy, Death Star first one, second one was like more, character driven. Circumstances like Han's got a bounty on him and then he gets frozen and all that. They get betrayed. Third one is a new Death Star.
New Death Star.
Awakens, there's Starkiller Base.
Starkiller Base. Yeah. In this one you've got thousands of Death Stars all mounted to which they blow up a planet for really no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
And there's
I didn't even understand where that came from. It just felt like out of nowhere, like, they're by a planet. And
we can blow up a planet just to show what we can do.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And then the second, Last Jedi, they had the Death Star cannon they put down on that salt planet or whatever. It's like, enough with the Death Star. Like, it's cool. But is this all their goal is? To just destroy planets until they have one planet and it's just evil? Like,
yeah,
I don't know what the goal is.
I thought honestly they did a better job with that in Rogue One, where like they showed like they have this weapon, they can destroy a planet, but they don't necessarily have to.
Yeah,
they could just wipe out an entire section of the planet or whatever.
Or ships even they could just wipe out ships that way. Yeah. Then fight was pretty cool. Get to see a lot of characters and timing sucked though, didn't it? Like, a lot of people just bit it and then pose like, I suck. And then Lando's like, we're here. Like, Colt 45.
He's like, Captain, on your left.
On your left. A lot of people are making that comparison. It's like Endgame.
Yeah.
We're here. Like,
only it made me cry in Endgame. I didn't cry in this one.
Right. Yeah. At the end with Rey, what'd you think about the decision there? Like, I know the yellow lightsaber, I know it's definitely a homage to the Luke Skywalker toy, the original toy, because I guess they had a yellow lightsaber.
Yeah, and that goes a little beyond my nerdism when it comes to Star Wars, because I heard some people talking online about how it's a throwback to this Jedi temple, and I'm like, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Well, Bill, you listen to things about crystals, right? A little bit.
Yeah, there's like a whole, I don't know, there's like whole series on YouTube and stuff like that you can watch that explain like what each individual crystal means and what its history is in the Star Wars canon or in Star Wars Legends or whatever you want to call it.
The crystal that they use is what determines the color of the lightsaber blade?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's funny is that like if you read the plot synopsis for this movie, it's supposed to be a white blade. Or it says it's a white blade, but it looks more like it looks yellow to me. I don't know. Maybe
it looks yellow to me
weird,
too. Yeah.
But originally, like the only person who had ever had a white lightsaber was, what's her name? Asajj Ventress or something like that.
Okay.
From the
Rebels or
Clone Wars or whatever.
Is that the chick with the octopus like head or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what I understood from that is the only reason she had white lightsabers is because she was disillusioned with the Jedi Temple and didn't want to go back to the Jedi because they treated her like crap. But she didn't want to be a Sith, so she picked a neutral color so that she could still be a Jedi, but not affiliated with one side or the other.
Right.
So was Rey supposed to be white in that same vein?
That's what I kind of got from it, but I don't know.
Yellow is cool though.
Yellow is cool. It's a color we haven't really seen before.
Right. You've seen white because like the original Star Wars, before they changed up the effects more, the lightsaber was I thought it was white. It wasn't really blue.
It was like a real pale blue, almost white.
Well, it's, I think a lot of that
years,
was because they used like the rotoscoping and all that stuff. Like
right,
that was it was essentially like a light that was on like a that was like spinning around or something like that.
I will say this: what I admire about JJ the most is any tech that's involved in his films feels like it's realistic, like it could actually work. You know, I just felt like his lightsaber scenes it felt like this could actually be a thing.
Yeah, that's so. You know, my son and I we had seen this movie last Sunday. We had watched some kind of movies leading into it, and even he, at 10 years old, could tell the difference between watching in the prequels those lightsaber battles versus in the new ones, and then even like how lame the lightsaber battles were in the original trilogy compared, and how much better they are now just because of the effects,
right?
The practical effects that they're using. You know, you don't have Yoda leaping around on Count Dooku, which looks ridiculous.
That was actually the only saving grace for me with Attack of the Clones, was that whole scene, the like 10 minutes of it.
And then Anakin got cut down. And you're like, yeah, serves you right, you little bitch.
Now, for me, and the scene that I like to go back and watch on that one is when Anakin is pursuing Jango Fett in the Slave One, and he launches those depth charges into that like meteorite field. And it's like,
that guitar, like
it's like just a big guitar riff in the
middle.
Right.
Space. That is like the cool. Awesome. That's my favorite scene in that movie. I watched
really good at like sound design. Well, he probably doesn't. Whoever he gets for the sound design is really good, and he probably gives them ideas. Funny thing is, when they were doing Return of the Jedi, I heard this a long time ago. I think Mark Hamill was talking about it. He was living in Japan at the time. Really got obsessed a little bit with like the samurais and things like that. So when they were coming back for Return of the Jedi, he proposed to George, like, give me like a mohawk, and I want to be able to like throw the lightsaber around. And George was like, you can't do that because they're supposed to be extremely heavy. Forward to the prequels, they're doing all kinds of shit with the lightsabers, and they have pretty much mohawks. So they basically took his notes and did it later down the road. But that's what you can do now with lightsabers, like freaking Rey's like throwing it around like nothing. And, and then the original concept was these are so heavy you have to hold them with two hands. Can't do this cool shit with them. And then Lucas is like, forget it. So I think it would have been cool to see Hamill like throw down. I did pretty. I'm glad we got what we got from Jedi. It would have been more of a waste if that's all it was. He was on that other planet in his damn robe and just, not doing shit. But overall, I'm satisfied. I thought it was good. I definitely want to see it again. I want to see further adventures. I like how it sets up things. She's got a last name now. She took Skywalker. A lot of people are like, she took his name, took his story. Da 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 da. It's like, okay, we have to move on. So it's like, whatever. I think a lot of us are cool with that, and we even wanted her to be related to a Skywalker in the beginning. So it's like, now we're pissed that she just decides to take his name.
Everyone said she was Luke's kid from the beginning, and now that she's taken his name.
Like all the theories with Force Awakens was either going like she's either going to be related to Obi-Wan or she was going to be related to Luke. Mm-hmm. And exactly.
So they settled, and then they're like, It's kind of weird though. She idolizes the brother and sister as her parents. It's like furthering that incest thing. It's like, but no, it was. A lot of people were like, "Why did she bury Leia's lightsaber at Luke's, boyhood home?" I don't know. I don't know if you had problems with that at all. It was cool to go back there though. Like it was run down. It wasn't operating.
Yeah, it was cool to see that again. No, I didn't have any problems with that. I didn't read too much into the symbolism behind it.
Yeah. I think it was more her like letting go of the past and trying to build her own kind of future.
But what I want to see like going forward is like, let's finally see what I wanted to see with like Luke is train a bunch of Jedis, have a bunch of Jedis, like a group of them, right? And they all have their own personality and looks and stuff. And then maybe a couple of them turn to the dark side or whatever. But I think that'd be interesting to finally see that in action. See her be a teacher. And then they all kick ass together. Like, that would be so badass, I think. Which is, like the Knights of Ren, I wish they would have had lightsabers instead of just standing around with...
Or at least those little, like, staff things that the guards had in in The Last Jedi.
Well,
Where they can at least like take a hit from a lightsaber and not snap in half.
That was cool. Yeah, I like what they introduced there, and I think if you pay attention, I did read about it, and looking back, it does look like it's her staff, some of her staff, but the lightsaber she constructed, people are saying that's part of her staff she had the whole time. Which a lot of people I think in the beginning thought the whole staff was like a giant lightsaber,
Yeah, like it was gonna, I don't know.
Yeah.
Somehow transform or something. Right.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job with what they, what they could do with the time frame and just kind of retconning. I think people who deny any retconning, I don't think that's, they definitely retcon some stuff. Johnson did.
there was a lot of retconning going on, but
which I'm okay with some of it. Like I
didn't dislike the movie by any means. Again, I can nitpick tons of small storytelling flaws.
It's hard to. It's like going down the hater route. It's like the dark side. It's really hard. Like I watch both people, on YouTube, and I sometimes want to just hate on stuff, but then I'm like, oh, but this is kind of cool. Like I kind of just take both sides, and like I can nitpick things too. But Star Wars from the beginning, it's been vague in spots, and it's like you need fillers, and you can either come up with your own idea for the fillers or read into them. So if you're really intrigued, then go that route. But yeah, it was a good film.
Yeah, all in all, I really liked it. I want to see it again. I'll buy it when it comes out.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Watch the hell out of it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm excited. Yeah, I think it's rejuvenated my whole interest in Star Wars, and Mandalorian definitely has, and that just ended. So yeah, you need to check that out.
I got to finish that up. I got to finish that series.
It's good. Yeah. You'll I think you'll be happy. Yeah, if that's the future, then I'm all for it. Like, that direction, that team,
and it also shows like, the kind of my theory is the original trilogy, the Jedi were kind of mysterious. Like when you did get to see it, it was like kind of a fun little treat for the audience. They tried to do too much with the Jedi and the prequels and stuff like that. Mandalorian kind of shows that you don't have to incorporate Jedi at all, really, to like carry a series. I mean, of course you've got Baby Yoda and he can like force choke people or whatever.
Right.
I mean, honestly, you don't really need to lean too heavily on that. So
I think they need to break away from those tropes, even though Mandalorian has a droid in it and things like that. I think it's very interesting to try to just concentrate on the characters more than give them everything they need. Like keep recycling. Like they got like a critter dude for a sidekick and a droid and then da-da-da-da. But like I think what a lot of people want is Knights of the Old Republic. I believe that's how you say it.
Yeah.
They want that to finally happen, which is like very ancient, I think, in the mythology.
Yeah, that would even be before the prequels.
That'd be cool.
I think.
Yeah, it'd be like a long time before the prequels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because all we have now is
even
Solo and Rogue One before the oh no, not before the prequels. I'm sorry. Yeah, wow, that would go.
Yeah, there's not anything in canon right now before the prequels.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah, take us there. that's the answer, right?
That would be awesome.
Well, thanks guys for guesting. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for the invite.
Yeah,
always fun.
It was it was very fun. I can't wait to release this. And if you guys have anything you want to plug, go for it.
We've had quite a few people join as of late with 515 Gaming, and that's really cool. I'd encourage everyone to check it out. The videos a watch. It's been kind of slow lately with the holidays and everything. And then I had tried to do that charity live stream thing with Extra Life, and that totally. Anyone who doesn't know the story with that, basically they had a DDoS attack on the website on the day of this huge, streaming thing, and some people like myself couldn't get back into their accounts to even do anything. So it was kind of discouraging, but we're doing little things here and there, and it's working out good. So
good. Yeah, awesome. You put a lot of time in those, and I think they're great. People need to check it out. It's on YouTube mainly, right?
Yep, on YouTube.
Yep, definitely check that out. And Jonah, you got some nice photos of some G.I. Joes I've seen on Instagram.
Oh, I'm always posting crap out there. Yeah.
That's awesome. Even on your vacations, right?
I take my toys with me on my trips.
So cool. They're in the mountains and shit.
Yeah.
Nice.
Give him a G.I. Joe movie to do.
Yeah, people look at me all funny, but that's all right.
Even that wildlife.
Like, set them up on the beach sometimes, and kids coming up and checking it out.
Like, get away. Nice.
It's like Welcome to Marwin with
Oh, right.
Pretty much, yeah.
Still gotta see that.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. This was awesome. A lot of fun. Definitely come back anytime you want.
Absolutely.
Doors are always open. So
Thanks for having us.
Well, with that said, I'm Josh.
I'm Bill.
And I'm Jonah.
May the force be with you.